my initial motivation to take the NCLEX. That was the loss I had during the start that I started
Okay.
doing the end of 10th cycle. So, nawala po yung motivation ko during that time. So, the hard part was finding a new motivation. I know it's a cliche and but sometimes when you have that time to introspect, I suggest that you do introspect and really figure out kung bakit mo ba ginagawa to, and then realizing that I was doing this for myself was my new motivation at the end. So that I had to do this for myself, that I had to get a job here. Parang ganun na, I had to get a job here. And then dun na pumasok na ay ayoko nang kumuha ng exam, di ba? I don't want to go through this entire
Mm.
process. It may be a good process at some point, something to talk about later on, but the stress for that entire 6 month, the anxiety for that entire 6 months, I think that's something that I don't want to go back to. When you find yourself like feeling guilty that you haven't studied, I think that's something that I know everybody is experiencing. Hindi ka lang nakapag-study ng 1 hour kasi natulog ka because you're tired. I mean, I know that's your self-care, but because you're tired and yun, and then you felt guilty right after. So that kind of cycle of feeling guilty and anxious, that was something that no matter how colorful my entire NCLEX journey was, it's something that I don't want to go back to. So sabi ko talaga, yung motivation ko, dapat one tick lang ako. I don't have the luxury of the finances and the time to do this all over again. So yun po. So I think figuring out why you're doing this will help you get that motivation that you need.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Welcome to IPASS Online Review and Mentoring Academy. My name is John, and I'll be your host for tonight. So here at Hope Talk, we invite successful IPASS online review candidates in the NCLEX to share their wonderful stories and learnings from their journey. It's an honor to share the story of her success, who has conquered the NCLEX, and her journey is filled with ups and downs. But her resilience, dedication, and study techniques led her to success. Her story is a beacon of hope for all of us striving to achieve our dream. With that, I would like to introduce to you our NGN passer, Miss Grace Panes Ex Mundo, USRN. Hi, Ma'am Grace. Good evening po sa inyo.
Hello. Good morning from here.
Oh,
And good afternoon, good evening to everybody else all over the world. I know IPASS has a lot of reviewees na hindi lang po from Philippines. So wherever you're in the world, magandang araw po sa inyong lahat.
Ma'am Grace, where are you currently located?
I'm currently based in California. I just basically immigrated here last year. So kasama na dun yung IPASS sa entire journey ko since I got here sa States.
Wow, amazing. We have something to look forward to, Ma'am Grace. No? At least our students po, or classmates will be able to hear your story and inspire what happened through the course of your journey. So, Ma'am Grace, could you share po a little bit of your background? Where did you study and your working experiences?
So I basically graduated very long time ago in 2010. I'm from Iloilo City. So I graduated from West Visayas State University, and I did a little bit of clinical experience way before, right after graduation, but yung entire time nung career ko was for public health talaga. So doing the exam, it was like some sort of parang eye-opener again, and then review at the same time. Pero update din siya sa akin at the same time, since my last clinical experience was way back in 2014, and that's like 10 years ago na po.
Thank you for sharing, Ma'am Grace. And may I ask, did you also process your documents under IPASS processing?
Yes, my first engagement with IPASS wasn't actually last year. I think I remembered messaging IPASS way before, pero like all other aspiring NCLEX passers, there will always be hitches along the way when you thought you've saved enough, and then merong other priorities that come in the way. So it wasn't until last year that it was fully realized when I had to push myself that I have to do this at some point. So I actually did processing conversations with IPASS before I did review. And then, but I heard of IPASS Review Center from a friend of mine before I did the processing. So I don't know if that makes sense, but pero parang ganun yung timeline ko last year. So I did processing and then I did the review and then from there, dun na nag-take off yung lahat.
And which board of nursing po did we apply?
I applied actually for New York Board of Nursing. I was struggling which BON to apply with, and I passed enlightened me with what are the current steps, saan ba yung mahirap, saan ba yung workable, and it helped me with deciding. So though I'm based in California, I did apply for the New York BON.
Thank you, Ma'am Grace. And did you already endorse your license to California?
Not yet. I'm currently working on some of my existing documents so that I can have it transfer smoothly po soon. Hopefully within the year po.
Yes. And we are really excited, ma'am, no, to have your license endorsed with the help also with IPASS processing then, if possible. So,
Yes.
Ma'am Grace, we are excited to hear paano po natin nasimulan ang study natin.
Yeah, I actually enrolled end of 10th cycle. So hindi ko alam if I belong to the 10th cycle or I belong officially to the 11th cycle. Kasi end of July ata ako nag-officially start. But things happen. A lot of things happened. I was off course for a few months. Naging onboard ako ulit with the review almost end of September already. So meron akong parang downtime since July to early September due to personal struggles at that time. So to make it more concise, it took 6 months talaga yung entire review period ko. So although IPASS has recommended a 3-month comprehensive na content plus na yung mga exams and everything, but it took me 4 months actually. I was team playback. I did try to attend one class, but because of the time zones, it was too early for me. I remember it was with Sir Ryan. I did try to attend his morning class. It's 5 in the morning here sa amin. So I just took 1 hour and then I slept after. Wala na ako maalala sa entire lecture after. So I figured out that trying to cope with the live sessions was really hard for me. So it was a decision to choose to be part of the team playback, which isn't a bad thing as well. But yun nga lang, if you have clarifications during the time that you're studying with a video replay, mahirap. So dun kasi wala kang live na natatanungan right then and there. So if meron kang question, it's either you get supplemental answers from the notes or you wait for the next na video to come out and then maybe hope na meron dun yung clarifications na gusto mo. But what I did is dun pumasok yung coach ko. So if I didn't understand anything, he was open with me chatting anytime. So I leave him a message and then he usually comes back to me with an answer related to anything that I'm confused with, for example, during the time na nagre-review and I didn't have anybody to talk to during that time. Yan
Thank you
po.
for sharing, Ma'am Grace. So, you mentioned po about the coaching program. No? There must be some clarifications lang din about our coaching sessions, no? So, we have three parts of our coaching sessions. We have the initial coaching, progress checking, and the pre-exam coaching. So, when you start your enrolling with the online review here at IPASS po, no, expect po na within 10 days, there will be an email to be sent to you. So, for those students who haven't received their emails, please check for your spam. And if you haven't really received an email for your coaching sessions, please email us po or message natin si IPASS Online Academy. Thank you for mentioning about coaching program, Ma'am Grace. So, the moment po you started your review, which month po was that?
I started attending end of July, but I fell through from between July to early September. I wasn't very consistent with the review. End of September na po ako naging on board ulit with the review. So from end of September until I took my exam in April. So until
Okay.
April po. Yeah. So I know it was a long preparation time, and I don't think everybody has that kind of luxury to prepare. But when I did decide to finally enroll in review and get my NCLEX, I made it a point that I have to prepare at least 6 months. I mean, granting that I've been in public health for quite a long time, longer than I did clinical, I was very anxious that I am not as up to date as the clinical nurses are right now. So, alam ko na iba na talaga yung world. So, yun,
Yeah.
yun. So, I know that the 3 month time period to prepare won't be enough for me to, para sabihin ko sa self ko na kaya ko na yung NCLEX by that time.
Mm.
So, I had a 6 month preparation time. I mean, yung mas more na consistent ako was a 6 month. Like I said, 4 months talaga yung concept kasi I cannot meet with a 3 month comprehensive course. I'm working like everybody else. So obviously, I'm working that time. I was just lucky to have a 3 day off most of the months that I've been reviewing. So every time na off days ko, my coach always reminded me to do at least 6 hours of review during those off days. So I try to hit that mark as much as I could, but meron talagang days na hindi talaga nabi-meet. But nevertheless, more or less 90% of those days, I do at least 6 hours. And for the rest of the days na meron akong duty, if I can't attend the class or hindi talaga maisingit, I start answering Q banks na nasa Moodle na talaga. So yung
Mm.
mga 20 questions, yun. So what I did is if the lecture is musculoskeletal, for example, I supplement it with reading the roadmap during my downtime on musculoskeletal as well. And then doing those short cue banks on musculoskeletal as well. So just to just to keep me in the loop. And then it wasn't around February that I registered for UWorld. So I only took
Mm.
that 1 month subscription and then did most of the UWorld question banks up until my April exam. So I think that's mainly how my entire schedule worked with during those 6 months.
Thank you, Ma'am Grace. I'm very curious po, no? Did you already study for NCLEX while waiting for your eligibility? Or you have received your eligibility and that's the time that you started your review?
I did start reviewing kasi I think I processed with IPASS like early July. My eligibility came in, I think, August or September already. So I started doing the reviews late July. So while waiting, I did start reviews already. I didn't want to waste time kasi I mean, you can do reviews anyway. I mean, if hindi mo pa kaya, I think IPASS offers that you can attend the next cycle if you feel. So I didn't So hindi ako na-pressure. So sabi ko kahit hindi ko matapos ngayon, I can attend the next cycle pa. So okay lang. So I started with the review already. But like I said, during the downtime period, end of September, which is basically, naging wake-up call yung eligibility ko. Nung dumating siya by
Mm.
email, and then that expiry date flashed to me na, ay, kailangan ko na talagang seryosohin yung review. So I think that's another motivation that had me going at the end of September onwards na po.
You have highlighted po something really important, Ma'am Grace, no? You can already start your study with the NCLEX program while waiting for your eligibility in the NCLEX because the anxiety will keep on increasing until the moment you have received your eligibility. Because
Yeah.
you know, by that time, you are ready to book and sit for your exam in the NCLEX.
Nung dumating nga po yung eligibility ko, I think I was more anxious, naging times two yung anxiety ko. Kasi you already saw that expiry date, and then nakikita mo na you have to take the exam. There's no going back. I think that's one thing that helped me to focus again or refocus for the review as well.
And with regards to the authorization to test, how did you decide po when are you going to sit for the exam in your experience?
Actually, I was just aiming for the 6 month review period. Pero sabi ko, kasi my eligibility, I think, will expire May. So sabi ko, I have to take it by April Para pag mag-fail ako, I have another month. Take the test again because I think there's like you have to have a waiting period at that to retake. So I didn't know how long it was before, but I was telling myself na dapat either kumuha ka para 'pag hindi ka nakapasa, may kuha ka ulit kung kakayanin pa. So, yun yung naging decision, yung parang naging criteria ko to decide on when to take, the exam. Kasi hindi ko naman magi-guess if I'm actually ready for the exam by April. And I think even like a day before, I was telling myself, I don't know if I'm ready to take the exam. I think you can never be fully ready or you can never be fully prepared. But during that time, yung running in my head is the practicality of being able to get another chance the following month before my eligibility expires.
That's why it's really important, no, Ma'am Grace. In the beginning of your review, you'll be able to access for the coaching program. You have booked the initial coaching session. And sino pa yung coach natin?
Si Sir Dave po.
Si
Actually,
Sir
when
Dave.
when during my initial period, I was telling him na around March lang ako kukuha ng exam. So he was already counting the number of months. And then, yeah, kaya mo pa yan kasi more than 6 months pa. And then, nung in the middle na between July na fell off na po ako sa review for quite some time. Then we were still counting the months. Sige, April, kaya pa din yan kasi 6 months pa. So it was some sort of a good na merong nag-a-affirm na okay pala yung ginagawa ko, na okay lang mag-move ako ng date. Kasi feeling ko by that time, I won't still be able to prepare
This is
fully.
how Sir Dave guided you on how are you going to structure your study plan po. All throughout until your examination day. At least they'll be able to help you know when are you going to access the recorded? When are you going to start your UWorld access? So you have mentioned po, no, you managed to subscribe UWorld for 1 month. Tama po ba?
Yes, 1 month. I wanted to do 3 months initially, but by that time, by around January, that I was trying to review my how fast I was, and I wasn't able, and hindi pa ako tapos with the comprehensive, with the content that time. I realized that doing 3 months for the U World won't be beneficial for me kasi nagsiswitch yung focus ko between the content and the Q bank. And then I maximized din kasi QBank with IPASS, the ones that are in the Moodle. So hindi din ako na ano, na feel na na-pressure talaga na kumuha ng UWorld for as long as 3 months. But I guess some reviewees are more comfortable having a 3-month subscription or more than that for UWorld or for other Q banks as well.
And that really depends on the situation of the student. Like for you, you have planned your practice test for 1 month. But for those students naman who have more time, like especially from today onwards, if your examination is 2 to 3 months from now, you can start po, no, messaging IPASS processing to avail po the discount from UWorld naman. Kasi 1 month, wala tayong discount eh. I've utilized UWorld for one month as well, so I wasn't able to get the discount. So,
Yeah.
ang laki ng discount ni UWorld kay IPASS. So, let's grab the opportunity po for that. And Ma'am Grace, you mentioned po, no, you have 4 months, most likely intensive review of reviewing the NCLEX materials. Can you walk us through po? Most especially, sabi niyo, you're working then. How did you manage your study schedule po? Can you give us an example on your working day?
Yeah, so on my working day, because I do PM shifts, and I did PM shifts pala, and then my shift is 8 hours. So most definitely from pag waking time, if I can't make singit yung ano yung isang lecture, for example, kasi the entire lecture takes 4 hours at least. So hindi na siya naisisingit pag morning. I do like an hour or two, minsan an hour lang, 30 minutes or an hour, na yung quizzes on Moodle. And then, pag dumating ako ng gabi, kasi hindi na din ako makapag-attend ng 4 hours, I read the roadmap or yung supplemental. So, during the entire time that I was doing intensive. I was watching the views kasi nga team playback ako. I was watching
Mm.
the videos. I was doing simultaneous quizzes, the ones that are in the Moodle. And then I did roadmap during that time to supplement the lectures that I am receiving. And for those downtimes na like on a regular day work that I can't access videos or I don't want to access videos because I have this feeling na if I get stopped like an hour and a half, napuputol yung ano yung thought ng entire lecture. So I wanted to watch it like for the entire 4 hours. Even with exams, your drills, pag napuputol kasi siya in the middle, parang hindi ko na nare-relate and then I can get back to it at the later time. For example, hindi ko na nare-relate yung previous na topic sa current na topic. So, I do most of the readings and individual quizzes during the days that I work para wala akong nasasayang na oras. So, so like I said, I group my study habits by systems based on the course outline that IPASS provided. So if it's GI, for example, today I will attend Ma'am Rosana's GI class, for example. After that, all the quizzes that I will take from Moodle, the roadmap that I will read will all have to be about GI. And then I supplement it with La Charity. Kasi during the start pa lang po of the review, I took the self-assessment of IPASS, the one that's in the
Ah,
Moodle. Yeah, so
nice.
I was able to gauge kung ano yung mga medyo poor or I need improvement on. And that is one of the things that my coach and I discussed during the onboarding at first. So from there, right off the bat, I know that prioritization and delegation is something that I have hard medyo challenge sa akin. So, I was thinking na baka I know how to prioritize but I'm not thinking the way USRNs are thinking. So, parang ganun yung fini-frame ko. Para hindi naman ako ma-depress na hindi talaga ako marunong mag-prioritize. So, ganun yun. So, I supplement La Charity during that time. So, pag workday yun, it's either I do quizzes from La Charity or I do quizzes from the Moodle or I attend drills na 2 hours, 2 hours. For example, 2 hours on the waking time and then I do go on duty and then 2 hours when I arrive from duty. Ganun yun. Yun yung workday schedule ko. Medyo cramped, pero yun, I think that helped me get on track, especially that it took me a while to finish the entire comprehensive course. I mean, I did it for 4 months compared to the usual that they do it for 3 months or less
Technically, you are reviewing for 4 hours a day po, no? While working on a
while
PM shift.
working. Yeah. More or less po, but Coach Dave also reminded me na if tired ka, take a rest. So I took that to heart. So if I'm tired, I guess that's the best self-care that I can give myself. I mean, everybody gets tired. So, and I think it helps if you get to know your pattern. Meron kasing iba na if they're tired, mas namomotivate silang mag-study.
Mm.
For me kasi, if I get tired, yung attention span ko hanggang 1 to 2 hours lang. After nun, wala na. So, it pays if you try to be mindful of your habits as well. That to give yourself a break if you feel na wala nang pumapasok sa utak mo. Yun, so Sir Dave was always told me and leveled off with me during the onboarding that if you don't feel like studying kasi you're tired or for whatever reason you had other priorities, give yourself that leeway to adjust. Kasi at the end of the day, pag hindi ka ready to study and then pinush mo yung self mo to study, baka wala kang maintindihan sa entire time na nagsa-study ka.
I agree, Ma'am Grace, no? Kasi the moment that you, ano po, start your review, in a way, you will experiment. Ano ba talaga yung study habits natin? Depending on the, lecture that we have here in IPASS. So some of our students would like to study 4 hours straight, like what you did po, no? Some of them, they really cannot do 4 hours straight. So what you can do, our advice from our head administrator, Sir Mark Zaspa, to use the Pomodoro technique. Para naman, in a way, it will help you to balance your study na hindi kayo ma-exhaust at the same time. And how did you, manage to take your breaks during the study sessions? Tapos ano yung ginagawa ninyo?
Ako po hindi ako ML dati. I don't do Mobile Legends before. But during my entire exam, during my entire preparation, nasisingit ko yung Mobile Legends during my break. And then,
Laro tayo, ma'am.
ayun. Mobile Legends po ako. So, sa mga kapwa ko na nagmo-Mobile Legends dyan. So, and that started during my review because I think I was so stressed. I needed to get that outlet. And I think playing that game revives my competitiveness again. So I was able to refocus. Pero more than that, kasi I did use Pomodoro technique too. So it helped me space my time. So during like the 5 to 10 minute break that I spaced it. I eat or I take a walk or I just, just step away from the laptop just to give myself some time to breathe. And then for the longer periods that I have, yun, nag-ML ako for the longer periods that I have. Or otherwise, I try to scroll Netflix on my next to-do list. And then I give myself that kind of reward. Like if I finish this entire thing, let's binge 2 episodes of something. Or if I finish this, okay, let's get out of the house. Let's, mag-coffee muna ako. Yun, parang ganun. So, that kind of reward system brings me back my sanity during that
Nice.
entire review session po.
I feel you,
Yun.
Ma'am Grace. So it's really important, no, that in a week or in a day, really have to take a break. You need to have a breather. Or else may exhaust tayo the entire preparation. No matter how serious you are with this preparation, kapag hindi natin binibigyan ang sarili natin ng time to relax or reward ourselves, it will be harder for us to adjust. Kasi ano yan eh, yung momentum mo, biglang 1 month, you have given yourself so much time to study, no, without even having any relaxation. May exhaust po kayo. So this is something that we can get an advice from Ma'am Grace, no. Different naman yung ano natin, situations, different approach on how you want to relax. So, may iba, they're using their phones to play, they're watching Netflix, or they plant their, water their plants, mga ganyan. So there's really a lot po, no, of ways to do relaxation techniques. Ma'am Grace, I just want to ask, no, while you were working po and reviewing at the same time, what do you think your current work have contributed to your preparation to NCLEX?
The flexibility with my work that time was I was able to do 4 work days lang po. And then my supervisor that time understood. So I had to cover a couple of shifts every now and then, but most of the time I'm not the go-to person for coverage. Because I think it helped na I leveled off with my supervisor na ito yung this is how I'm doing right now and I can't do shifts. I can't say for everybody. I think it's not a general rule. And I know working conditions in the Philippines or anywhere in the world is different from that here in the US as well. So it depends, but my work at that time really helped me to get the time that I need for review as well. So I'm proud to say that because I don't have any license here yet. I was a caregiver at a facility here, and most often than not, it's physically draining more than other things. So I think yun yung naging that was yung point of being tired ko that I can do. I wanted to do it mentally. I have that mental capacity to do it, but my body is telling me I can't physically comply with the mental na strength ko. So I think that was one that my employer did balance it out by at least, giving me that leeway not to take additional shifts or get that extra day off. But mind you, yung 4 days lang yun lang yung paid. So, yung 3 days na off, no,
Oh,
no pay din yun. So, no work, no pay din kasi. So, but still, no, if I needed that extra time, they did spare me a little bit of time just until I get to the exam schedule on April.
Thank you for sharing, Ma'am Grace. If you notice, no, not only your family and friends have supported you along with your journey, also your employer, they have understood po, no? In a simplest way, they help you to leeway most of your time to give you, I mean, to give you more time for studies. Kasi
Yes.
it's really important din, no, na a lot of our students right now who are not working in bedside as a registered nurse in a certain country, in your experience po, during the time po na nagre-review kayo, do you have any doubts of passing the NCLEX because you are not currently working as a bedside?
Yes, I did a lot. Especially, I mean, you might have heard this, Serjan, over and over again from many Hope Talk sessions na when they started with the review, they feel like bobo sila, they feel like they're stupid kasi they can't catch up with what's current, what's up. I felt that thing like the entire time. Like, what are they talking about? Especially
Ah,
that I didn't get a lot of chance to join live sessions. So I feel like I'm getting behind my classmates. And from the previous cycle students, I'm getting behind everything. Like, I don't know what they are talking about. Why are they talking about that stuff? More than that, like I said, I've been with public health for a longer period of time. So,
mm,
yung clinical ko talaga is, like, I think it's inherent na nurses will always know their basics or their
mm,
foundations at
mm.
some point. But with the updates, yung time ko yung mga ano pa yung uso pa yung mga nagfo-fundal push, mga gano'n-gano'n na level yung time ko before. And even
Yeah.
with the use of for OB. So I have a lot of concepts before that were different now. So you can give morphine sulfate before for those na nakapancreatic na mga cases, mga those time pa. So those were a long time ago. So it was difficult to override that with the current not maybe concepts
Mm,
because it was difficult to unlearn what you have learned before. There will always be some sort of bias with whatever you have learned previously. And I think that's one of the challenge as well. So I do believe with what Sergey and the rest of the lecturers have always been saying to understand the concept because I think the entire time the nursing education system was more on memorizing. I mean, you have to memorize the
yeah.
disease, the symptoms, etc. So it was difficult to unlearn that process. Even during the review period, I find myself memorizing the
Mm,
symptoms at some point. So I have to self-check na you don't have to memorize kasi you don't have the luxury of 4 years to memorize everything again. So it goes back really to understanding the concept. So when I do start realizing that I'm memorizing, I ask myself, why did it happen? So it gives me that redirection na, ay
mm.
kasi ganito yung nangyayari. And then I start understanding the concept again rather than memorizing. But yeah, I think whether you're off bedside or even if you're currently practicing bedside, there are still things that doesn't really marry entirely with the ideal setup that's very theoretical. So, like I said, it's difficult to unlearn what you're currently practicing and what you have already learned. But I think that also served as an eye opener for me during the entire review sessions po.
Thank you for sharing this story, Ma'am Grace. No, there's always hope po, no? Especially to our students who are not currently on bedside right now. It's possible to pass the exam talaga with
Yes.
confidence na rin kasi we have so much great educators that can help us to understand what we have learned before during our, how to say, college times.
Yeah.
So, Ma'am Grace, I'm very curious din po, no? The moment you started your online review and working at the same time, how did you stay motivated throughout the course of your review?
That's the tricky part because my initial motivation to take the NCLEX, that was the loss I had during the start that I started
Okay.
doing the end of 10th cycle. So nawala po yung motivation ko during that time. So the hard part was finding a new motivation. So I had to I know it's a cliche, and but sometimes when you have that time to introspect, I suggest that you do introspect and really figure out kung bakit mo ba ginagawa to, and then realizing that I was doing this for myself was my new motivation at the end. So that I had to do this for myself, that I had to get a job here. Parang ganun na, I had to get a job here. And then dun na pumasok na, ay ayoko nang kumuha ng exam, di ba? I don't want to go through this entire
Mm.
process. It may be a good process at some point, something to talk about later on. But the stress for that entire 6 month, the anxiety for that entire 6 month, I think that's something that I don't want to go back to. When you find yourself like feeling guilty that you haven't studied, I think that's something that I know everybody is experiencing. Hindi ka lang nakapag-study ng 1 hour kasi natulog ka because you're tired. I mean, I know that's your self-care, but because you're tired and yun, and then you felt guilty right after. So that kind of cycle of feeling guilty and anxious, that was something that no matter how colorful my entire NCLEX journey was, it's something that I don't want to go back to. So sabi ko talaga, yung motivation ko, dapat one tick lang ako. I don't have the luxury of the finances and the time to do this all over again. So yun po. So I think figuring out why you're doing this will help you get that motivation that you need.
Totally agree, Ma'am Grace. This is really important. No? Sometimes we lost track in the middle of our preparation or our review. Sometimes we will ask ourselves, no, why am I doing this review ba? Who is this for? What's really my goal in taking the NCLEX exam? So from there, babalik ka dun sa pace mo. And of course, you will experience stress and anxiety throughout your preparation. How did you manage your stress during that?
ML is life po, sir.
Okay.
Pag stress mo ako, I did, sabi ni Ma'am Rosana, it's okay to eat, sabi niya. So I ate. So yun. So pag stress mo ako, I ate. I did ML, I binge watch. So yun. But most importantly, I just take a step back off from my laptop and from the reviewers. I know that there are some that are that are very comfortable with having the reviewers digital. Medyo traditional po ako. I'm a visual person, but more traditional. It
Mm.
helps me organize my review if I print it out. So I have to print out everything. I printed out roadmap so that I can like
Ah,
write on it, and easy for me to organize my thoughts if I'm writing it down as well. So I step back, linalagay ko sila lahat sa drawer, and then doon na muna sila pag stress ako. And then as much as I could, I don't study if for example, I have stress at work, for example, and then that's
mm.
something that doesn't go away for quite some time. I don't overlap it with studying kasi hindi ko naiintindihan. I can't understand what I'm reading because my mind is minding some other things too. So yun
Ah,
yung isa. But most importantly, I did most of the other vices and luxuries that other might might do when they're stressed. I sleep, I eat, I binge Netflix, I step outside. I did ML, like I said, doon nabuhay yung yung streak ko sa ML during those times. So yun po.
mm. It's a journey to ano rin, no? Not only preparing to pass the NCLEX. Parang it's a journey of self-discovery na rin, where you can learn to navigate your emotions.
Yeah.
Tapos you are able to employ techniques like yung mga
Yeah.
mindfulness na sinasabi niya
Mhm.
po. Yung mga supportive networks para ma-maintain yung balanced state of mind natin. Kasi
Yes.
effective stress management, this will help transform your anxiety into a driving force for your success. So minsan doon natin natatransfer yung moments of stress natin into success din. And Ma'am Grace, can you take us to the moment on the examination day without sharing po kung ano lumabas sa exam? Can you take us to that moment? How was your experience?
Yung isa siguro na naging ano ko during the exam is I didn't have somebody to talk to on how they had their exam here in the States. Kasi most of my classmates were, I think, doing their exams in Manila. So there was a difference in how things are, I think, laid out at some point. So, ito kasi when I took my exam very early in the morning because I'm a morning person. So, I know that I can work better if I do my exams in the morning. So, that's another thing too that I decided on what time to get your exam. So, hindi ko alam how it's done in the Philippines, but when I did it here, I was mixed with all other test takers. So meron akong kasama na LVN, yung kanyang NCLEX, yung isa
Mm,
Opta. So it's like we're in the same room. We're just taking different exams. So yun. So I was very anxious at first. And then because I did see IPASS always sending those notifications that you have to be prepared. You have to dress like this. You have to bring your cardigan with you or something like that. So I was like all dressed up, and then yung kasama ko nakukuha ng NCLEX din naka-sweatshirt lang. And naka-sweatshirt lang. So feeling ko mas na-intimidate ako with me being overdressed rather than nung na-exam proper na. So I think both of them were taking NCLEX as well. Naka-sweatshirt lang sila, and then nakalagay dun, di ba, that you don't have to bring your reviewers, mga ganon, because
yeah.
yeah, but the one that I'm sitting beside with, she was reviewing while still waiting for our queue numbers to be called so that we can get seated. So I was
Mm,
more anxious na nakikita ko sila na they are still reviewing. I was saying that baka I didn't prepare enough, mga ganun yung
mm,
those were the thoughts that were running in my head. So, pray lang po ako na sana mag-guide ako ni Lord today. I tried not to mind them because if I get too conscious with what they were doing, I might not be able to make it to the exam room with the anxiety that I had. So, same kami na room. The next anxiety was when it actually started. So, I remember the reviewer saying, always do your best in the first 15, mga ganun, ganun. But you do your
yeah.
best with everything because you don't know where that 15 unscored questions will be. So I think that anxiety was starting to brim up pa when I keep remembering that you have to do better in each item. And then when my seatmate finished before the first break, I got even more anxious. I was saying, oh my gosh, hindi ko alam kung ano nangyayari. But natapos na siya agad. I know that I mean, have walked us through adaptive testing. But when you're actually doing it and then you see some of your seatmates come and go, yung anxiety mo na, hala, ba't ako hindi pa natatapos? So, am I taking too long answering questions, or is he just too fast? And I think we're both taking NCLEX. I'm just not sure if it's RN or if he's taking LVN. So, mas nape-pressure ako na bilisan. Yun, I think,
Mm,
was the initial thing that came to my mind. Kailangan mong bilisan. But I have to calm myself down. I mean, we have different pacing, and it's just like
yes.
first 2 hours of the day. I have like the entire 5 hours. So what if nauna siyang matapos. So I have to keep reminding myself that way. Otherwise, if nagpadala ako sa pressure, I might have rushed through my questions without actually understanding the question, and I might not have
Yes.
passed NCLEX. So I know it's gonna be really hard, but being mindful also during the exam day, it helps. It helps of being mindful of even your own habits during the exam day. So when it was break time, I took my break. So I took the
Mm,
advice of all the lecturers that you have to take your break during the break time and not push yourself to go on. So during that break time, I stepped out of the exam room and I was already asking myself if kaya ko pa ba, or I will go home na. Uuwi na lang ako ng Pilipinas if hindi ako hindi ako makapasa ng exam. But that was really what was going through my mind, that if I didn't pass the exam, I wanna go to the Philippines and just, practice my nursing there.
mm,
So after I took that break, I gave myself like 15 minutes to breathe, at least 15 minutes to breathe. And then when I came back and then I started again, I think dun ako na-refocus ulit after that break. That, okay, kaya natin 'to ulit, let's do this again. So the next anxiety, I know that happy 'pag nag-shut off yung computer mo at some point, but that's actually the most the most stressful part, 'pag shut off nung ano, nung computer, because you don't know if you pass or you fail. So, in the waiting time, that's another stressful thing. But I'm glad na I didn't rush through things. I didn't give in to the pressure that my seatmates were already done. So I took my time. I think that's the best advice from anybody who took the NCLEX exam. Just take your time. You have 5 hours to finish it. You don't have to rush to everything.
So that's why, Ma'am Grace, is really important, no? When we do our practice questions, we somehow be conscious with the time as well. So that on the day of our NCLEX exam, you'll be more aware and conscious with the time and the pacing that you were doing during your practice exam. So thank you, Ma'am Grace. Because of that, we would like to present to you your IPASS certificate. This certificate is proudly presented to Grace Panes Exmundo for successfully passing the NCLEX RN examination. This serves as a proof that a successful candidate indicated in the certificate is a safe nurse based on the USA Standards of Nursing Practice, signed by Sir J. Padong and Sir Mark Zaspa. Congratulations po, Ma'am Grace.
Thank you po.
We have so much to learn dito sa session ni Ma'am Grace, no? And I'm really happy na ang daming inputs na na-share ni Ma'am Grace. And Ma'am Grace would like to ask po, no, how did IPASS processing and IPASS online review and mentoring academy help you in achieving your American dream?
Siguro right off the bat, iPass helped me organize the entire processing. I've been trying to do processing DIY. I've heard of doing it DIY, it's cheaper, but iPass processing helped me make decisions like saan ba yung BON na most applicable to me for some point. No? So those decision making, they help me organize the entire process, basically. And the review was to help me organize how to study again. It reminded me how to study again, something that maybe I have lost through time right after college. I mean, marami akong kilala na they were saying that you can do it, just study by yourself. But the first thing that I introspected is if kaya ko ba to do it by myself, and I realized na hindi ko talaga kaya. I might not have finished 3 months of studying kasi yung attention span. So having somebody to organize it and maybe having somebody to talk to and having that community na kasama-sama kayo, kumukuha ng exam, sharing the stress, sharing the same pains. I think that helped me go through that process. It became like some sort of a support system for me too during that entire time. Just, even though I'm team playback, listening to my reviewers, engage with my fellow reviewees, and then sharing that same anxiety, that you will know na hindi ka nag-iisa. You're having people, that are on the same boat with you, and that you guys can do it at the end of the day. So, yung mga ganun thought. So, I think entirely IPAS gave me another community and another support system that I can reach out to, making it a safer place for me to, voice out things that I'm not sure of during my entire review sessions.
Wow, amazing, Ma'am Grace. Thank you for trusting IPASS Processing and IPASS Online Review and Mentoring Academy in helping you achieving your American dream. So here at IPASS, we are really dedicated to help all our nurses to pass the NCLEX exam. And our CEO, Ma'am Rachel, is watching right now. She is congratulating you then po, Ma'am Grace. And she's
Thank
really
you
happy with your
po.
success. So we have the privilege of Sir Ryan with us tonight. Good evening po, Sir Ryan, or good morning po sa inyo dyan.
Hello, sir. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hi, Ma'am Grace. Can you hear
Hi
me,
po,
guys?
Sir Ryan. Sir
Uh,
Ryan, I'm sorry. I did try to attend your musculoskeletal lecture before. Natulog po ako. Kasi early morning po sa amin, hindi ko kinaya. Then after nung tulog, wala na po. Out of the window na
ah,
po yung lahat ng sinabi niyo. Sorry po.
okay, that's okay, ma'am. Anyway, the good thing is we have replay and ano naman, recorded video. So congratulations, Ma'am Grace. Congratulations and shout out to you for passing your NCLEX. And yeah, salamat sa mga golden nuggets or the tips that you have shared to our classmates and to our students, of course. And yeah, good luck and God bless in your next journey. So thank you so much, Ma'am, for being here in the Hope Talk. Thank you for inspiring your classmates. And thank you, thank you, thank you. And God bless you. Shout out, Ma'am.
Thank you
Congratulations.
po. Shout out sa lahat to your lecture po today.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you po, Sir Ryan. I just remember no earlier, Ma'am Grace, the first lecture that you have attended was under Sir Ryan. So
Yes,
this
yes.
time, grabe,
Oo.
mag-e-end ang NCLEX journey mo kay Sir Ryan din.
Yeah, most
Wow.
memorable journey. Sorry po, Sir Ryan, natulog ako sa during the entire time.
Okay,
So,
saan
Ma'am
ka ba,
Grace,
Ma'am, ngayon, Ma'am Grace? Saan ka naka-base?
I'm based po in California.
Kaya pala, yeah, early yan sa ano eh. Mga
Yes.
5 a.m.
4,
yata.
5 a.m.
As,
So during your class po, I did attend 5 a.m. Hanggang 6 lang po ako. And then I slept. And then your lecture po was, wala na po. Nabura po siya after ng sleep. Hindi ko po kaya. So, kaya po team playback po ako, Sir Ryan.
okay, that's okay, ma'am. No problem. Okay, congratulations again. Thank you, Sir John. Thank you.
thank you. Ma'am Grace, congratulations again in passing your NCLEX. And we are really proud of your success. And remember, you passed with
IPASS.
IPASS processing made easy for you.